Okay, here is screencast number 2. This is a pretty simple one. I'm trying to give you a simple understanding between the two systems of communism and capitalism. Now I'm kind of simplifying here because when I say communism, that kind of includes socialism and communism together. Socialism is more economic, communism is more political, but they often go together. And in capitalism, I'm also kind of referring more to a democratic type of a government, but with a free market kind of economy. So just for our purposes for right now, as we go into the Chinese Civil War, I want you to have a basic understanding between these two different systems. At the end of this, there is a quiz for you to take, and it's on Edmodo. So here we go. So communism versus capitalism again. If you need to pause it anytime, just pause it to catch up with the notes. So to compare like political parties, in communism, there is usually a one-party state. Oh, I should say, notice there's two columns here. Just do kind of a two-column thing on your notes, so you can compare the two aspects. And I'd keep the bullets like this together, so you can kind of compare and maybe draw a line in between each one of them. So in communism, there's a one-party state. It's the Communist Party. If you're not in the Communist Party, you're not going to be in the government. In a capitalist system like we have, there's more than one political party. Now, we've got two parties for the most part. Then we've got a lot of minor parties. But you can be in either party, and you don't have to be in one party to be in the government. In a communist system, and you have to work your way into the party before you can get into the government. So the real politics is within the party. So whoever the party nominates, that's who's going to win the election. So the people really don't have much of a choice. The party has a choice, but you have to be a member of the party, you have to be in the party leadership, and then you get chosen by the party. In our system, it's much more democratic, meaning more people are part of that decision. So ownership of things. In a communist system, all industry, so any factories, businesses, etc., and agriculture, farmland, etc., that's all owned by the government. People, the motivation to work is, well, it's good for the country, it's good for the party, it's good for everybody if everybody works hard. So that's your motivation. In a capitalist system, we have private ownership. So like General Motors or Apple, IBM, Microsoft, those are companies that are owned by individual people. Now, it's not one person. There's many people. There's stockholders, but those are that's private ownership. Farms are owned by private individuals. Now, the government has, regulations on those and rules for those, but the government doesn't own those. It's a privately owned thing, whereas in communism, there's no private ownership. It's all the government owning it. So, and kind of related to that, in a communist system, they say it's classless. And again, this is more socialism, but classless society. Everybody's the same. There's no rich, there's no poor, there's no middle. Everybody's kind of the same. No one should be making profit. I shouldn't be making profit off of people needing to buy my product. In capitalism, private individuals who own things privately, they employ people, they hire people to do work, they pay them wages, and then if I'm the owner, I keep the profits. Or if there's multiple owners, they share the profits. The whole motivation, the whole goal is to make a profit and earn a living. In communism, it's for the good of everybody. So in communism, and this is truly more communism, the government controls aspects of people's lives. We talked about the one-child policy in China. That's a great example of government control in someone's private life. In capitalism, there are limits on how much the government can interfere in people's lives. That doesn't mean to say the government never interferes in people's lives, because they do. They still do. There are laws. There are regulations. For example, if someone's accusing of abusing a child, the government steps in and does something. But it's for the protection of the child. Otherwise, they leave people alone. There's limits to that. So a lot of control in communism, more freedoms, more limits on government in capitalism. So in communism, there's a lot of censorship on what you can say or do, what the media can say or do. The government and the party really controls the media, controls what's out there. In capitalist, or again more of a democratic system, there's freedom of speech, freedom of press, and freedom of movement. So you can go anywhere you want to. You can say anything you want to. You can print anything you want to. Now, again, there's limits to some of that. There's rules about that, like I can't print something I know is false to make someone look bad. That's illegal. I can't say things that are untrue to make people look bad or to denigrate their character or anything. But there's freedom of speech, and this is especially true and important in relation to the government. If I'm critical of the government, I can do that. I can't get arrested for saying something bad about the government or the president or my congressman or the mayor or governor. In communism, if I'm critical of the government, they can arrest me or they can move me. They can make me live somewhere that I don't want to live. In capitalism and in a democracy, I can move around freely. I can have a job where I want to. I can go visit people when I want to, etc. So that's a very quick overview of the differences between communism and capitalism. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go to Edmodo or stay on Edmodo. You should be there already. And take a quiz, and there are different scenarios about people's lives, and you have to tell me if it's capitalism or if it's communism. Pretty simple. You can refer to these notes, use your notes as you're doing it, and do your best. So again, thanks for listening. Good luck with the quiz, and I will see you all on Thursday.